Are white farmers facing genocide in South Africa? That's what President Trump claims, and he says he has evidence. He confronted the President of South Africa with it at a meeting at the White House. It ended up pretty contentious, felt a bit like an ambush. But Donald Trump says, in his words, it's sort of the opposite of apartheid.
You're taking people's land away from them. And those people, in many cases, are being executed. They're being executed. And they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that. How do you explain that? They're taking people's land away, and in many cases, those people are being executed. And in many cases, it's not the government that's doing it. It's people that kill them and then take their land, and nothing happens to them. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country. They're also going to Australia in a smaller number. Mm. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country, and they're white farmers, and they feel that they're going to die.
President Trump is going to go down in history for being one, if not the best president of the United States, period. Because he's hit a level like the rest of us. We don't want to hear the sorry, sad stories. And we don't want to hear any more lies. We've been lied to long enough. Did you guys see that he met with the president of South Africa? And President Trump and his no nonsense, it is so refreshing to see. Like, listen. So basically, one of the reporters said, what is it going to take for you, Donald Trump, basically, to admit there's no genocide against white people in South Africa? And then this happened.
What will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the president. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends.
Then President Trump came back and was like, oh yeah, that's not happening. Genocide, white farmers are not being killed. Watch this.
Is Natalie here? Somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you.
What do you say? We've been seeing it in America. We've seen that there are a lot of white South African farmers, thousands of them, that are getting killed and getting their land took. We got to stop the cap. You guys know exactly what you're doing. And it really irritated me watching the president of South Africa act like he does not know what President Trump is talking about. He's completely oblivious to what's been going on, but you're the president of South Africa. How do you not know? We're the days of being lied to, this done. Like, we're America, we're here. We need to come together as a country and stop all this other unnecessary crap. And killing white farmers simply because they're white is racist. And that's why, if you guys are completely uncertain of why did Trump let white Afrikaners come, they're farmers, come to America, but you're kicking out all of the illegal immigrant, bitch, that's not even the same thing. They're being massacred. That's what's going on in South Africa. Okay, stupid. That's not the same thing as people breaking into our country illegally and committing crimes. And getting on public assistance and shit, and where we gotta pay for it. That's not the same damn thing. These people add value to our country. They're farmers. They can farm. I love President Trump. That's my president. I wish he could be the president of the United States for the rest of my life. But J.D. Vance 2028. Yeah.
We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation.
All right, let's just talk about what really went down with President Trump when he met with South African President Ramaphosa. Trump didn't hold back. He confronted Ramaphosa in the Oval Office with a video showing anti-white rhetoric, including Julius Malemo shouting "unalive the board," and the claim that white South African farmers were being systematically targeted and unalive, something Trump referred to as white genocide. Now, we're not going to pretend that some Africans in South Africa aren't violent, because crime there is very real, just like it is in every part of the world. But let's also not act like some white South Africans didn't steal land through colonialism and apartheid. Both sides have dirt, and that's the truth. Ramaphosa pushed back. He made it clear that violent crime affects everyone, black, white, and in between. He said the government land reform plan isn't about targeting white farmers. It's about correcting deep historical injustices. And that's fair to acknowledge too. But here's the truth. Trump cannot save the entire world. Yes, he should try to work with South Africa for peace and cooperation, but America has serious issues here at home. Our border is still in a frenzy. Our economy is shaky. Crime is rising in our own cities. So before we try to play the hero on the world stage, we better make sure our own house is in order. This was a high stakes meeting with real tension, but also a reminder, and let's just face the truth, not just the parts that fit your favorite side narrative. Now, the media is saying that Trump is racist, but there was no racism. Both leaders met, they disagreed, and they will work it out. That's what strong leadership looks like.
So the confrontation between Trump and the president of South Africa, this is my opinion. I feel like the president of South Africa was well prepared. So when Trump show him the 8 or 7 farmers who have been in South Africa, this is what he said. Hey, you know what? Crime rate in South Africa is higher. It doesn't matter if you are white or black. Okay, when he showed him, okay, I want to show you in a video a person who's taking their land and taking it. You're not, it's like, who is that? Julius Malema. Julius Malema is always say about the land, about South Africa. Nobody's going to tell us what to do. This is our land. Okay? And guess what? Those profile of the people is even verified. Okay? So, and y'all know that Trump, he's the biggest. So if you're not ready, you are going to be lost. But the president of South Africa, he was really prepared. A good point. And it was clear. Okay, and he said the land is for all South Africans. You have to follow the rules. And guess what? Why do we talk about the 49 people who decided to be refugees while there is tons, millions of people who are losing their life around the world? It doesn't make sense. So what do you guys think? Let me know. Make sure you like the video, you share the video, and you tell me what do you think.
You know, folks, I couldn't tell you guys much about what's going on in South Africa, no more than I could tell you about a man on the moon. But what I can tell you guys is that we have a president of the United States who swore on the campaign trail that he would focus on the needs of the American people. He's 5 months into the show and has yet to deliver the goods. I can tell you about a president who is currently trying to pass a big, beautiful bill through Congress that will strip millions of Americans off Medicaid. What I can tell you is that we have a president who has launched a reckless trade war that will cost each household in the United States an additional $2,000 in spending. What I can tell you is that we have a president who swore the war between Russia and Ukraine would end on day one. Folks, the war is still going strong. With all of that information and so much more, why are we focused on South Africa? You've been deporting Latin Americans left and right, but accepting a specific group from South Africa and making claims that aren't really fact-based. But you ran a campaign saying that you would focus on the needs of the American people. Said that you would lower inflation, but inflation is going up because of your reckless actions. Make that make sense.
So Donald Trump just attacked Cyril Ramaphosa, the South African president. at the White House.
To allow them to take land.
Nobody can
and then
take
when
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer.
The invitation was brought in. He came into the White House with promises of trade discussions and other collaborations. And then he went about saying, hold on a second, I want to show you a video.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do with or with.
Then goes ahead and shows a video to Cyril Ramaphosa about one of the extreme cult leaders in South Africa talking about murdering and killing South Africans and taking their lands. And then he went on to show some pamphlets where, you know, whatever he had in his hand.
So the issues that concern you.
And in the background, while all of this is happening, you can see Elon Musk like dead eyeing the president from the corner of the room.
From people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on.
And what's interesting is the president of South Africa's responses were super, super awesome. So he said, he said, we are a democracy and we do have extremists, as you know. We also do have a criminal system. Then Trump went about saying that, oh no, well, you know, you guys should be jailing these people. He said, we do have a criminal system. There is no white genocide going on in our country. And so he basically humiliated himself in front of the entire world by bringing in a world leader, then trying to embarrass him in front of everyone. And let me tell you, this is all Elon Musk doing. In my opinion, he has President Trump's ear whispering every single day, trying to get his own agenda through. And it's ridiculous. But all I can tell you is the president of South Africa, mate, he did a great job in his response, and my hat goes off to him.
Okay, we have breaking news. This is kind of funny, actually, and kind of disturbing. So the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, he basically offered Trump a plane. He says, I'm sorry, I don't have a plane for you. And then Trump responds and he says, well, if you did, I would take it, which is really interesting. I can't tell if Ramaphosa was trolling him or not, because honestly, I've been thinking that this is the best way. I mean, I've done stand-up for about 3 years. So I feel that in a lot of ways that sarcasm and satire are the best ways to deal with this. Like, instead of calling out Trump directly to his face, just, you know, troll him and basically say, listen, I would love to get this done and we'll give you like, you know, 2 747s in return. You know, just do it in public and, you know, make it so that Trump doesn't understand it. But Trump admittedly did turn it around. Like, the way he was phrasing it was kind of like, you know, a little bit playful, a little bit stand up. And he's like, well, if you will, I would take it. I would take the plane. And so like, one of the things I've been thinking about and saying for a while, and if you've listened to my channel, you'll agree with me, is that I've been saying that I think Trump is kind of a combination between a politician and stand up. I mean, it's not like traditional stand up, but he is, you know, talking more frankly off the cuff. And it works in situations like this because you don't know if he's coming or going. Like, he can redirect it. And so even though the president was basically, the president of South Africa was referencing a bribe and telling the president of the United States that I am going to bribe you, Trump flips it around on him. So the question is what do you think? Do you think that this is a bribe? I think it's a bribe. Do you think it's acceptable for the president of the United States to be joking about taking bribes?
Breaking news from South Africa. Finally, President Ramaphosa met President Donald Trump at the United States State House. And guess, Malema became the topic of everything. They said Malema was inciting everything about the genocide that has been happening in South Africa. They ended up playing the clips, the videos that Malema had been doing at the past, and said all the genocides that had been happening in South Africa about the Afrikaners, the white in South Africa, were orchestrated. And I'm like, President Ramaphosa could not be able to defend himself. Even giving out the clip of this one, I can't play it here because it's very graphic. I cannot. If you want it, you can go to Express and look at it. Your president couldn't manage, and they ended up pronouncing him guilty of the genocides that had been happening in South Africa. You won't believe this. And my question is, so Malema is a threat. He has actually become the pronunciation of everything that has been going on in South Africa about the incitement. Anyway, South Africans, wake up. Your president should stop being a puppet of these people, or else look at now what is happening. Look at the reputation of everything against you South Africans.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.